Oh, wow. That is disgusting.
Some of the chicken chores, some of the dealing with the animals is not all that glamorous. This, for example, cleaning out the nesting boxes.
Yep.
Especially when they haven't been cleaned out properly in a week or so. Tends to be one of the less glamorous chores.
Sleep on it.
Yeah. I'm trying to convince them not to sleep in here.
Because
We put up one roost here. I probably need to set up another one on this side. But I'm trying to convince them not to sleep in there because they tend to sleep in there too much. But as we bring them in at night, because what we've got out here is, this is their run during the day, and I am going to expand it again in the fall. I'll expand it, or in the spring I'll expand it out so it goes out further out there. But what I'm trying to do is let some of the, you can see some of the vegetation start to come back from there. So I'm going to try to do that, and then then they can have that area as well. But when we bring them in at night, they come in, and obviously they need someplace to roost. So what they've been doing, unfortunately, is roosting in the nesting boxes. And hopefully with the new roost here, and like I said, one over here, that will change. Alright, so we've had two different types in general, in types of chicken. We obviously have multiple different breeds of chicken. These are our layers. This one's really friendly, so Robert's got a hold of him here. But we have obviously different breeds. You can see different colorations and stuff. They all seem to be Easter egg laying, so you get the blue-green eggs that I posted on our Instagram page, and I'll include a picture down here on the bottom. But we get different colored eggs.
All right.
Which is kind of neat. Normally, we've always just had brown eggs. So we have two different types of chickens that we raise. These are our egg layers. They will, hopefully, they'll self-perpetuate. They are going to be, they lay eggs for us to consume, but also that they'll lay eggs that will produce chicks, so that as these guys get older, guys, I'm saying guys, but they're all girls. As they get older, they will obviously start having, they'll have chickens to replace them. They are all girls at the moment. We did not get a rooster in this batch. You almost always, when you order from the McNorrie hatchery like we did, you almost always get a rooster. Unfortunately, we didn't get that one this time, so we're going to have to get a rooster. But I'm not too worried about that, so there are plenty of them around. Alright, so as he finishes cleaning these out, what we normally do, we use wood chips, just pine chips that we buy for our bedding. Here's another example of different chicken here. We use just pine chips. We've got a really great compost pile going out here that we work on. I'll show you that real quick. Now, chicken poop and chicken droppings or whatever need to be composted before you can really put them on. You should compost them before you really put them on your garden. So chicken manure, unlike rabbit manure, is not a cold compost. It needs to actually be composted before you put it on your crops or whatever. So we've got this really great compost pile out here that our former owners of the house started for us, and we've been using. As you can see, let me show you here. Here, take this back in to Gabe so he can fill that up again. Ow! As you can see, we've been putting compost on the top of it, but this is old. This is really old here. It's been here, and they've been filling it up for a long time. You can see the compost down from the bottom here. It's been stirred properly and handled. And you can see it's just absolutely beautiful stuff here. This stuff is ready to be used in our garden this year, and so we'll be digging out from the bottom. All right, so if you want clean eggs from your laying chickens, you've got to do a really good job cleaning this out. And we've always been really, really bad about doing this in the past. And we have to bring them inside, and we have to wash them. And that kills their longevity, which is one of the positives of doing fresh eggs, is that, you know, they last a long time. You don't have to keep them in you don't have to keep them in the fridge if you don't want to. And you can do things like preserve them in a lime bath, water bath. So what we're trying to do here in this new house, or this new place, is we're trying to make sure that we have done a good job cleaning out their nesting boxes here, and again trying to prevent them from actually sitting in there all day long and pooping in there at night. There's a lot of things about this place that we don't really know yet. Like, for example, it looks like down here there was a second set of nesting boxes underneath, and they stopped using them for some reason. I'm not sure why. So they're just full of bedding at the moment. So I'm probably going to pull those out. This roosting bar, and put it on this side of the barn, and then open this back up so that they've got roosting boxes or nesting boxes on both sides. Not that we have that many birds, but
extra nesting is always helpful.
Extra nesting. Our birds are just starting to lay, so we have probably 2 or 3 of them that are actually laying at this point. It's getting into winter, so we're probably going to lose that. But at the moment, we've got a couple of them that are laying, and so that's really good. Right. Kill the video. All right, so these are our laying birds. This is our setup that we've got for them. We're going to put some more bedding in here so that they have places to lay. The other type of chicken that we have are the meat birds. We don't have any at the moment. We did 25, or we started out trying to do 30. We lost 5 of them, which is about a normal attrition rate on when you buy chicks. But we did 25 meat birds this year. They were an entirely commercial version of the bird. They go from chick to egg, or to consumable chicken in 8 weeks. That's a really fast time for growing. So they don't do anything except eat, sleep, and poop the whole time they're here. And mostly it's eat. They are voracious eaters. We were filling up this feeder
like once a day.
Yeah, once a day for them. Whereas with the laying hens, we filled this up a week ago, and they're about half done with it. Yeah. So, but our goal, again, is to find some self-sustainability and try to have chickens that will provide meat without messing with our laying birds. The goal is to there are breeds of chicken that grow fast, not as fast as 8 weeks, but that we can pull a few of those out that will lay eggs that can then be hatched, that can then turn into meat birds again, without messing with our laying birds, because we do want, they're still bigger than the roasters that we bought this year, but they're not as, they're still, you'd still end up with more meat than you would on these birds. So we're going to try one of those heritage varieties. We'll redo them. All right, so we have had a lot of, well, not a lot, all of our experience in hens up till this year has been in layers. So layers are something that I feel more comfortable in, even though we've always kind of done it haphazardly. We buy a dozen a couple dozen layers, and by the next year, by the time they're laying, we've got less than that, obviously. But the goal here, obviously, is to try to get more production out of them, and hopefully with the house, with the better setup that we have, that'll happen. But I'm certainly not an expert in laying hens, so anything that I say, please don't take this as a lesson to that, hey, this is what you should do. But there are some things that I do know. Like I said, cleaning out the nesting boxes so that you get a good clean place for them to lay and to work. And obviously keeping them fed, clean water, a nice area for them to go outside. And again, I'll expand that area that we talked about earlier out a little bit further. And again, one of the other benefits of chickens is that you do get compost. You do get quite a bit of compost with chickens. So that you have something to put on your garden in the next year. So, all right, so that's our video on chickens. Like I said, we don't have any of the roasters at the moment. We did those over the summer. You can go back and see some of the videos. I'll link those below or in the cards above, but where we talked about the roasters. But the goal here, obviously, is to have two different varieties, ones that provide meat and ones that provide eggs. So hopefully that'll explain kind of what we're doing there with those. As soon as I stepped out of there, as soon as we came out of there, finished it up, they all come right back in and check. There were two of them actually up in the nesting boxes almost as soon as we came back in here. All right, so that can... All right, that concludes the video on the chickens. Like I said, I wanted to do a video on each of the species of animals that we have on the farm here. I did a bunch of videos on the pigs. I did the one on the rabbits that you went up last week. And when we get goats again, I'll do one on them and talk about why we do them and what we're using them for. Hopefully these videos are interesting to you and maybe even helpful as to why we do what we do, and just kind of give you a good feeling of what's going on here at the Great Heights. So if you like these videos, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Please share the videos with your friends, because that's the best way to get the information out there. And if you want to find out when our next videos come out, make sure you subscribe.